Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time. This time on the Kindness Project, Hawaiian Luau, the Felix Project, and we have the best interviews of 2019 Part 2.
You right, mates?
Hello, mate.
Welcome to the Kindness Project. Yeah.
Casual start, I like it. I like the style.
I'm joined by this man, right? And he really don't like Christmas till December 1st. And then he's
That's when Christmas starts. Christmas doesn't start in the middle of November. It starts in December.
Christmas can start whenever you want it to start. Halloween starts whenever you want it to start.
Christmas is in the mind, my friends. If you want it to start in June, start in June. Is that what you're saying?
Christmas is a state of mind, not a physical being.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Charlotte. How are you? And I'm joined by a girl who would like to start Christmas sometime in August. It's Charlotte Dames.
Whoa. Are you interrupting Halloween for Christmas?
That's the thing.
Nah.
That's the thing. Christmas isn't really a state of mind. It needs to go in a particular order. Otherwise, it mucks up Halloween. It mucks up Bonfire Night.
Nothing comes before Halloween, except the year before's Christmas.
You cannot. And I'll tell you what, if we start it too early in August, it'll mark up my birthday, and I ain't having that.
I want to do a luau next year.
A what? A U-ha? What's a U-ha?
I just want to... No, you know, this year we had all, like, the decorations and they were all islandy, tropically.
All right.
I want to do that, but, like, 10 times bigger.
Well, Hawaiian-style party you're talking about. A luau, is it?
Yeah.
What did you say? Luau. Luau. Sounded more cowboyish. Luau. Merry Christmas.
I'm a luau.
Merry Christmas. Have an Hawaiian style party. We're going to have a quick intro today because we've got no question in the podcast.
You what, mate?
I know. We're taking a break from question in the podcast over the festive period.
So sad.
It's not.
How are you not crying?
Look. I am saving myself for 2020.
Oh, well, it's not like we haven't lost segments before.
When we probably... No, look, trust me, Question of the Podcast is coming back in early 2020, clearly. We're not dropping Question of the Podcast. That's one of my favourite things about the podcast.
But we did drop Kindness News.
We need to bring Kindness News back to 2020. But yeah, so that's where we are. But before I go, I want to read you a little message we had from... definite friend of the show, guest presenter of the Kindness Project, and just all round amazing dude, Patrick Luong, who said, "Congratulations on the podcast of the century. Well done on 100 episodes full of kindness, joy, and the hilarity." When did the hilarity happen? Did I miss that episode? I can't remember.
52.
To celebrate Chris Dames, you should totally get down to Paul for a pigs in blanket sandwich, and 50p goes to the awesome Felix Project charity. So I am the Felix Project, just to give them a bit of a heads up, delivers rescue surplus food and delivers it free of charge to vulnerable people via many charities across London.
Now, yes, he did read that basically straight from the Twitter page.
I did. And you know what? There is so much, particularly over Christmas, there is so much wasted food, not only in the supermarkets but in our homes. Finding better ways to just give that food out. Do you want to... You just stood up and sat on my shoulder.
Sorry, I was...
You wanted to read...
I wanted to read the tweet, and then I just stood up.
But can I just talk about this pigs in blanket sandwich, right? It looks like a good one. It's a baguette, which is a good bread for a pigs in blanket sandwich. It's got proper pigs in blankets. Now, let me talk to you about what I saw the other day, which is basically a sacrilege, right? Went in a shop, went up to the sandwich bit. They've got pigs under blankets. That, my friends, is a sausage and bacon sandwich. That do not
Turned
call
a very specific way.
do not call your sausage and bacon sandwich pigs under blankets. All that is bread, bacon, sausage, bread, right? What you need to do if you're going to call anything pigs and blankets is wrap the sausages in the bacon, okay? Thank you. Rant over. Get your pigs in blanket sandwiches right. Oh, go on.
Sausage,
Do not...
bacon, wrapped,
Yeah.
wrap, tied together with bacon.
Oh, that sounds amazing. But as long as you wrap... Look, I'm
Stuff it in the oven.
Look, I'm not a complete purist, but as long as you wrap... I may be a pigs in blankets connoisseur, but I'm not a pigs in blankets Nazi. Do you know what I mean? I won't go that far. But as long as you wrap your pigs in your blankets and not just lay the little blankets of bacon over the top, you and me are not going to fall out. However, this pigs in blanket sandwich that I'm looking at right now, I'm pretty sure it's got a couple of sprouts in. How do we feel about sprouts in there? Is that a sprout?
Well, no.
That looks like a sprout.
No, mate, the pigs and blankets are just green.
I'm not sure green pigs in blankets. I don't know if green eggs and ham's particularly good, but green pigs in blankets.
Well, Sam, I am seem to like it.
Yeah, true. But how do you feel about putting a sprout in a sandwich? I might give it a go.
Do it, enjoy.
Oh, do it, Charlotte. He's back. Do it, Charlotte. Do it.
Enjoy, have fun, go.
Right, okay.
Do it.
And on that note,
We're shuffling right along.
But unofficial, we're not having an official question of the podcast, but unofficial question of the podcast, is it okay to put a sprout in a sandwich? Answers on a postcard, or using the following communication techniques.
Are you going to do them this week or am I doing
You
them?
are?
Okay, so we have this thing with the magical blue bird. It's called Twitter. I think that's the bird's name. We're not really sure. He's a carrier pigeon, but scientific experiments going wrong. Whatever. Anyway, you can send messages online, and at Ola Kindness is our PO box thingy.
P.O. Box? Sorry, I didn't realise we were doing a podcast in the 80s. P.O. Box?
Just carrier pigeon.
Answers on a postcard.
You said that a minute ago.
I did. Don't send us postcards. Although, one of the interviews we've got coming up next year is with an amazing lady. Or have we published it already? I can't remember. No, we haven't.
Is this the woman with the old person time?
Yeah, Postcards of Kindness. It's an amazing little project. And we'll be interviewing her early in 2020.
Right. You can do Facebook.
Yep, we're at The Kindness Project. Or you can get in touch with us Twitter at Holla Kindness. Email us holla, HOLA, at The Kindness Project. Or just check out the website and our back catalogue of now 101 full nonsense-filled hysterical podcast, apparently, according to a recognised authority on the matter, super kind Patrick Luong, full of kindness.
Thank you, Patrick.
Full of kindness, joy, and hilarity. So yeah, all good. Should we get on with the show?
Shuffling right along.
So this week we've got
Another best of. We had so many amazing interviews in 2019. We couldn't fit them all into one podcast, so we are sharing with you some of the insights in a second best of interviews episode, and we are gonna just crack on. Oh, you wanted me to respond? Okay,
please.
Sure.
We are co-hosting this, aren't we?
Do it. Enjoy.
What's the most unusual way you've ever been greeted?
I was in Mongolia, and I went into a yurt, and I met this family, and they gave me camel's milk.
What does it taste like?
I didn't drink it.
Oh, right, okay.
I was with a guide, And because I was like, I knew that if I drank camel's milk, I'd probably get ill.
Yeah, gotcha.
Stomach. So when the lady was turned, we swapped glasses.
What was in the other glass?
No, there was nothing because she drank her camel's
She'd done it already. Oh, amazing stuff. That's really good. Okay, cool. And if our listeners want to know more about the book, want to know more about the Netflix series, and want to know more about you, where's the best place to go on the web or anywhere to find out a bit more about you?
On Instagram, they can find me at The Kindness Guy.
Okay.
And on Netflix, they can find me at The Kindness Diaries on Netflix.
Fab. So today we're joined by Ben, who is going to tell us a little bit about him and the amazing work that he does. But I want you to first, Ben, share the story about how we met, because it's quite an interesting one, isn't it?
I like this one.
Well, it's amazing who you can meet hurtling 10,000.
Yeah. So we met on the ground. I mean, we didn't meet mid-air, did we? But we were both.
We sort of met just after we landed on
No,
the
you
ground
didn't meet
after a
halfway
charity
down and have a
skydive.
handshake, did you?
That, you know what, that would have been amazing, wouldn't it? Meeting halfway down and just like, hello, I recognise your T-shirt. Yeah, I don't think. Sorry, listeners, we Ben and I met during a skydive. We both did a skydive. I was raising money for a charity up in North London, and Ben was raising money for the Ministry of Stories, who he's going to tell us a lot about. But I was due to go to a quiz night to raise some money for the Ministry of Stories. I couldn't make it, but I did recognise Ben's T-shirt. So I said, I think I know who you're here to raise money for. But it's a small world, right?
It is, and the weird thing is, as soon as you said your name, I recognised it as the person
who didn't turn up.
Out of about 100 people, we were going, is he coming or not? Does anybody know him?
Does he exist? You know, is he a made-up name? Yeah, I can confirm I am real.
Well, so, I'd like to think so.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
You'd hope so. Charlotte, would you know what was weird? Just talking about skydiving for a minute. At the end of my skydive video, I did nominate somebody else to skydive, and guess whose name I mentioned?
Anybody else's but mine?
It was actually yours. Would you ever do
No.
it? Would you ever do
No.
it? Okay, fair
Never.
enough. Okay, so Ben, just so we can start and our audience, our community can hear a little bit about you, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my background is as a writer, and I worked for probably about 15 years in professional theatre as a writer and a director.
Okay.
Developing new plays mainly. And about 10 years ago, I met the other founder of the Ministry of Stories, Lucy McNabb. And it was a very sort of accidental meeting, a bit like ours.
Yeah.
And we were both interested in projects and organisations that supported young people and children to write.
Okay.
So that was our sort of mutual interest, and from that we decided that we wanted to set up the organisation that became the ministry, basically.
And where did that first meeting occur?
It was on a training program for in action learning. We were learning how to be action learning set facilitators.
Okay.
So it really was very, very random. But interestingly, lots of the stuff that we learned through that sort of 6-month training program, we ended up using quite a lot in our thinking about how to set the organisation up. So it was all good, and it was actually also, the spark to something really very important.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. And you mentioned about meeting your partner and then setting up Ministry of Stories. For our listeners who don't know about Ministry of Stories, tell us what it does and the impact it has.
So the Ministry of Stories is a writing and mentoring centre for children and young people. It's based in East London, in Hoxton.
Okay.
And really what we try and do is build the confidence and creativity and craft of children and young people in learning to write better.
Okay.
I'm saying we, I mean, I left the organisation 2 months ago, and
right.
actually the last thing I did was the skydive as a way of saying bye to the organisation. So I'm trying to learn to stop saying we.
Yeah.
There now, but anyway, that's the mission of the organisation. I think in effect, what we're trying to do is change children and young people's attitudes and ability to write, because for a lot of children and young people, it's not something that they find particularly easy or particularly fun, and we really feel that it can be. So that's our mission, is to make it more possible for children and young people to write.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever had?
The best piece of advice I've ever had is always be yourself.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Pinky, can you tell our listeners where they can find out a bit more about you and your projects?
Well, they can go online and see everything on womenfuture.co.uk.
Okay.
Or if they want to find out more about what I do, I think they can just Google me, and hopefully something will come up.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. And we'll put some links in the show notes when people listen, so they can find what they need from themselves.
They may want to, and this is just an aside, they may want to listen to Desert Island Disc, which I did 2 years ago.
Okay, great. And what I'll do is I'll put the link to that on the show notes too. That's amazing. What's your favourite piece of trivia?
My favourite piece of trivia?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the one that always gets people, that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not even sure where I can go with... What do you mean by favourite piece of trivia?
So what's your favourite piece of sort of knowledge that most people don't know that you sort of find yourself sharing?
Oh, I think probably it's got to be around, poetry or literature.
Okay.
I love books. I love reading.
Oh, well, you're in the right place, because you are in the right place, because we love reading. So that brings us on to the next question. If you could be any character in any of your favourite books, who would you choose?
This is the first question.
This is the first. I tell you, that was 80 episodes ago. That was the first question we ever asked.
If I could be a character in my favourite book, I would like to be Herzog.
Okay.
And Herzog wrote the book Annapurna,
okay.
which is about the first ascent of Annapurna. And the first paragraph starts off with the amputation of digits from the people who just come down from the expedition on the train to Delhi. So he's an amazing writer. It's a beautiful book.
Amazing. What's your ideal Sunday morning?
Ideal Sunday morning? Gosh. I think ideal Sunday morning is to be out in the garden barefoot with about half an hour of Tai Chi.
Okay.
As long as the weather holds and the grass isn't covered in worms.
Okay. That sounds like a good Sunday morning, actually. And a couple more. We'll go for... Oh, I've got too many now, Charlotte. Have you got any more in mind?
That was the only two I remember.
Right, let's go for...
We did ask, are humans generally good ones? We barely got any responses.
Yeah, so do you think most people are generally good?
I think given half an opportunity to be, yes, people do err on the side of goodness.
I think so. I think you're right. Okay, 2 more questions. Okay. These are 2 of my favourite. And I forgot about this one. You're on the final of the Great British Bake Off. You've got to bake your showstopper to wow Paul Hollywood and... It's not Mary Berry anymore, is it? It's Prue. Is it Prue?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you baking, and in what sort of shape and style? Right. Okay. So this is a really good one.
I love baking.
Okay.
So you've got me there because I've got so many.
Go on, tell me. Go on.
Well, first off, I think I'd like to do a lemon drizzle cake.
Okay. But we've got to go showstoppers. So what size, what shape is it?
Gosh.
You know, like you've got to like really wow the judges.
In that case, I'm going to change my mind.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Battlebrith,
Okay.
which is a Welsh tea bread.
Okay.
Very classical Welsh tea bread.
Well, that sounds nice already.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I would probably bake it in the shape of Travanna, which is a 3,000-foot mountain in the Snowdon Mountains.
Amazing. Not to scale though, right? Because that would be a bit big for the tent.
They actually call Travanna the dragon because it looks like a sleeping dragon.
Oh.
So I think that if I was going to do Battlebrith, I'd do a Welsh bread in the shape of Travanna, the shape of a mountain.
That
That
sounds.
reminds me of that poem that we have to analyse for English. The prelude, because he compares the mountain to a beast chasing him as he
Who
runs
wrote that?
away. I don't know. It's only an extract because the actual thing is like 27 books long or something.
Oh.
It's like.
Yeah, but does that count as a poem if it's 27 books long? I
It's
mean,
all in like poem.
yeah, it's in prose. Yeah, I see what you mean. Right, and the last one I'm going to ask for today is, what would you call your autobiography?
What would I call my autobiography? Oh gosh, that's a difficult one, isn't it? I think I'd call my autobiography Shanti.
Okay.
Shanthi.
Okay.
It used to be the name of my dog. She's gone to doggy heaven now. But Shanti essentially means peace, calm, equilibrium,
Okay.
balance.
Balanced.
Yeah?
Really like
I
that.
think dog is named after a serial killer.
Yeah, Dexter. Yeah.
Yeah, Shanti, I think, yeah.
I really like that. So, where can people find out more about you and your organisation?
Well, there's a banner that
We're going to share.
posting.
Yeah, we're going to share.
Absolutely. And on that banner will be an email address and
Okay.
contact telephone number.
Okay, that will.
And we welcome anyone with ideas, any kind of imagination ideas, practical ideas, but also support. You know, we always welcome donations and volunteers.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a silly idea.
And what we'll do is we'll share all of that on our show notes for the podcast so that people can find out a lot more about you
Absolutely.
when they come in. Thanks, I've really enjoyed this.
No, there's one more thing.
Oh,
we
cool.
will always put the offer out for anyone who actually wants to come with us on location.
Okay, cool,
If
amazing.
you want to travel with us,
Yeah.
we will take you and we will look after you.
How often do you go?
Every year.
Every year, amazing.
April,
So
May time.
brilliant. So we'll make sure that goes out in the podcast as well, so that our listeners can benefit from that if they would like to. But really appreciate that. Right, I'm here with Rebecca. Thanks, Rebecca, for joining us. I'm really excited about this one.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Really
Thanks
good.
for being with us at our offices here in Bankside.
Yeah, great. Well, literally, our offices are just around the corner in Moorgate, so I had a really nice walk through London. And walking through town this time of the year is a bit good, isn't it?
It's
I like it.
Look at that spring sunshine.
I know, it's really good. So I know all about you because you were introduced to me, but tell our audience a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you. So I'm Chief Learning and Culture Officer for Interbrand, which is the world's leading brand consultancy. And I have quite an eclectic mix of roles at Interbrand.
Okay.
So I head up the Interbrand Academy, which is our platform for learning, innovation, collaboration and inspiration at Interbrand. We work with a host of phenomenally amazing brands and universities around the world as part of that. I also head up our global luxury practice. So my background also is, I'm a creative strategist, so I've worked on clients from Lego through to a lot of the luxury
Lego
brands.
must be
I know,
exciting.
It's one of my favourite brands. in the world.
I love that came out first. Lego.
It's one of my, I tell you, treasured, loved, truly loved brands.
My 7-year-old loves Lego. Honestly, it's great. But the problem is we did a little project. So Cassie, my wife, and Charlotte went out the other day, and Sophie and I had 10 big bags of Lego to put together, which was meant to turn into a fairground. I popped out of the room. She mixed all of the 10 bags. So I came back and went, I just don't know the instructions. I don't know where to start. I went, should we just play and have some fun? And Sophie was, no, Daddy, we're going to do it like the instructions. So we spent quite a lot of time finding tiny little parts in this big bag, but I loved it. Absolutely good.
Again, classic example, a timeless brand, right?
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
Across generations.
Yeah.
And so that's what it has always interested me about brands, the relationship between brands and culture and people. Yeah. And also how I came to luxury, because I'm inspired by luxury brands, because a lot of them, when you think about it, they have lasted across generations.
Yeah, gotcha.
They have, they have retained this relevance across generations.
Yeah.
They're really, I mean, again, I would say luxury is possibly one of the most difficult industries to work with, but that's also why I love it. There's
why is that?
Challenge there. For a number of reasons, not least because when you think about the brands that you're working with, I think first of all you feel such a sense of responsibility. Some of these brands
because they're big names, right?
300 years old, and I think that's the thing, is that they've at that point brands become part of culture.
Yeah.
So you feel a sense.
So they're
that
iconic.
Not just and it's certainly not that you're just working with a brand. You feel a sense of guardianship over these.
It's a responsibility.
And over the people you're working with. So and fascinating businesses to work with.
And what's it like working with people in the academy, and what do you teach? And help me understand that.
You mentioned, yes, I'm flying off to Boston in a couple of weeks. So one of the things that I run, I have a whole host of programs throughout the year. The academy does two things. So the Interbrand Academy was born and inspired for our people. So Interbrand has a network of over 17 offices across the globe. And you imagine as Interbrand, we're a really polymathic business. So we have everything from data analysts out of MIT on this side through to designers. We have retail experience and everything in between. So really polymathic.
So a lot of different
business.
Types of people, right?
Absolutely. It's a phenomenally eclectic mix of people, which I absolutely love, and I think is so inspiring for us and also for the clients that we work with. So the academy really is about how do we nurture and feed and inspire our own people, and how do we connect them across our 17 offices. And so that's what the academy does. It's a platform for learning, collaboration, co-creation, innovation. And I'm in Boston to run one of my favorite programs, which is called Masterclass. And Masterclass is a sort of a high octane 3.5-day intense program where I fly in our top rising talent from around the network. And they
across the world, all into Boston.
Yeah.
To learn what specifically?
They're coming from every different background as well. And they do two things. So we have a program mapped out for them for the week, which is designed to inspire and amplify collaboration, co-creation, and innovation. And we're working with one of the top 5 best global brands in the world, which I should be able to reveal shortly.
Okay, very cool.
Pretty high profile, yeah.
Very cool. And what do you get out of teaching these people?
Do you know, that is the real gift for me. That is the real gift for me. Is I do it because I was speaking at a conference the other day, and I said, the reason when you look at brands and business, and we talk about people and culture, they're only in business because of the people. So every great brand begins with a great culture, begins from within, and that's why I do it. I am fascinated. I find people, in terms of what we can do in this world, what we can do as individuals is one thing, because we are magical, unique individuals. What we can do together as collectives,
it's amazing. You're right.
Communities is amazing. We were talking about that earlier in terms of how you connect into communities. So for me, the qualities of, and I go back to, so Google did this amazing piece of research on effective teams called Project Aristotle. And they found 3 common factors out of effective teams: curiosity, empathy, and generosity. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I do it.
But that's what makes us human, right? That curiosity and empathy is what makes us different to a machine. It's those elements that are really good. And we're here to talk about kindness, and you were honoured, I don't know, along with Gareth Southgate, apparently I heard today, to be on a list of the 50 kindest leaders. What was that like?
Oh, it was honestly so humbling, really humbling. And I have to say, huge recognition to Pinky Delano.
Who introduced me, introduced us, so thank you for that, Pinky.
Amazingly generous connector in the world. Truly light-filled human being. She's absolutely wonderful. And kudos to her also for recognising something, a list of leading lights in kindness in business. And putting the notion of kindness and business together, I think, was such a powerful move by Pinky, and so prescient, because I was in Delhi just over a week ago speaking at a conference organised by the Economic Times. And I talked a lot about what it is to be human in business.
Yeah.
And if you think about where we're moving to the age of the human, to the age of the deeply human, where as you talk about tech, the rise of AI, we're in a world that is changing at an exponential rate, so we need to be exponentially human. And that's not said in a throwaway. It's actually quite a really deep thing that we need to consider, and it's macro, it's micro, it's what we do on a daily basis as much as anything else. And I think what Pinky touched on was the notion of, as we were saying earlier, kindness is something that is, in essence, it's an abstract thing. So how we make kindness real in daily life and how we translate it into business in a way that actually transforms the way we do things, transforms what we can do and change for good in the world. That's what's really exciting.
Is it the end yet?
You did it. Well done. Hopefully you enjoyed those episodes. Should we get on with the end of the show? I don't know what to do about the end of the show now because we've got normally like the question of the podcast is the end of the show and we read out the answers we've had from listeners, but I don't know what to do now.
Say the first thing that comes to mind.
Bye. Goodbye.
Say see you later.
We can't end it there. We can't end it there. Oh God! Right. So listen. Let's talk about what questions of the podcast we might ask next year.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, what's the best and worst thing you've ever had in a sandwich? After we talked about Brussels sprouts in a sandwich earlier.
Best chicken tikka and mayo.
Oh God, that sounds awful.
It's my Subway order. Chicken tikka, olives, mayo.
You know what? I do like the little selection you get in Subway where you can put, other sandwich shops are available, where you can put what you want.
I just saw chicken tikka and I was like, I want that. And then we moved on. I wasn't even looking at my sandwich like, I like olives. Oh, there's some light mayo. And I wouldn't go back.
You wouldn't have it again?
Oh, no. I wouldn't change my sandwich order. I get the same thing every time.
I think there's only one thing to have at the Subway. Meatball. I mean, I love a meatball sub. We had meatball sub yesterday, didn't we?
Swedish meatball sub.
Yeah, it was good.
Got all over our faces.
Yeah. And what question are you dying to ask our listeners next year?
I hope I'm not dying to ask anything.
What question is going to make you feel most alive?
Something about books.
Thank you for being so specific. And on that note, we are going to see you next week. Bye.